talking about astrology, then you're the fool for being so ignorant and stupid that you're not following your teacher. I told you, he's good. I wouldn't put my name and my reputation and my work on the line for somebody who's just a friend that I just want to help. No. I know him. I've watched him for 16 years. He blows my mind every day when I talk to him. And everybody who's ever gotten a reading goes and tells their friends, and now their friends want readings. So I've never had one person get back to me and say it wasn't sensational. So I know what I'm talking about. And so I always figure anybody who wants to question why I'm promoting astrology, I always tell them I'm not promoting astrology, airhead. Go back and read it. I'm not promoting astrology. I'm promoting my friend Joe, who does astrophilosophy the way Nostradamus did it. And if you think Nostradamus is a fool, believe me, 500 years ago, he's still today world famous. Nostradamus is. And so, that's my feeling. If you're so stupid that you don't want to listen, I don't care. It's your loss, not mine. I don't give a shit one way or the other. I'm just telling you, just giving you the benefit of 55 years of intense study. And if you're so damn stupid and ignorant and backwards that you think I'm stupid, well, that's your problem.
You know what, Jordan? I figured out a long time ago that, to me, the astrology is just a reflection of like the inner workings of what goes on in people and in organizations and stuff.
Of course it is.
Yeah, even all the religions are based on astrology.
All of them.
All of them, yeah.
Especially Islam.
Yeah. The moon.
Islam is, the moon. And did I ever tell you about the book you needed to download called Moon O Theology?
No, but I'm going to write that down, Moon O Theology.
It's called, wait a minute. It's called Moon, and then a hyphen, and the letter O, and a hyphen, and then theology. Moon O Theology. It's out there on the web, volume 1 and 2. It's like, 1,300 pages or more.
Damn. Yeah.
Between the two volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. It's the most in-depth, off-the-wall brain puzzle that you will ever come across. This guy took Islam apart, big time. Goes all the way back to beginnings, way before Muhammad, way before the ancient pagan Arabic world, and explained Saturn, all of the esoteric symbols of the different planets, and how that all came down through the Arabic peoples thousands and thousands of years ago, and traces all of the documents, and just an incredible array of awesome research into Islam. Nobody has come near or close to what this guy did. It's about, I don't even know, I think it was 1,400 pages of diagrams, pictures, explaining where all this shit came from, what all the words in Arabic actually mean, not what the bullshit English-speaking peoples of the world have been told. No, but what does it actually mean, and where did it come from? And I was so blown away by this book. It's called Moon O Theism, and it's part 1 and part 2 are downloadable for free. Somebody put it out there, and download it, and you will see what I mean. Anybody who's interested in Islam should fucking take a few minutes out of their worthless lives and read this shit. This will blow your mind. Yeah.
George, that's funny because you know what? I've just been in the last few days. I got a copy. I got a copy of the Mormon Bible book, and I got a copy of the Quran. And I was going through the Quran because I was trying to find where they talk about the jinn, the spirits over there. And I was reading a little bit of the Quran, and I was thinking about a few years ago. I was studying about this, about how Allah and like how they pray to the east and stuff, and I was learning about how it all has to do with the moon.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I haven't did a full study on it, but I remember learning.
Get monotheism.
Yeah.
That doesn't set you back about 20 years growth nothingness.
And Venus, right? It doesn't Venus have?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Venus and the moon. See, all the ancient world assigned colors to the different planets.
Mm-hmm.
The Earth was, I think, blue. Mars was red. Venus was always green. That was always. Well, all the ancient cultures of the world assigned colors to the planets, and they were always all the same. Of course, the sun was yellow. The moon was silver. That's why silver and gold today is so important in the commercial world, silver and gold. Why? Because of silver, the moon, and gold is the sun. And so silver and gold is important because the sun and the moon is important. And but when you get into Venus is green. That's why all the flags and coats of arms and everything coming out of the Arabic world is green, because they're worshiping Venus, and Venus is referred to by the Romans in the Latin as Lucifer.
Jordan, I got. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say. So this shit is really deep.
Yeah.
And 99% of the people on the earth today, collectively, have got an IQ of 40. So they cannot understand their own ass from a hole in the ground, you know. And so they want to talk about religion. You need to get a mirror and look at your ass and get your head out of your ass and wake up and understand that there's a whole world out there of knowledge and wisdom and occult, you know, symbols and words and terms that have been developing over the past 15,000 years that people have no idea in the world about. All they know is Paris Hilton got laid and the basketball's on tonight and the beer is cold. And they're out of a job and they're broke and their house is being taken away from them and they've lost their job. But at least they got baseball and a cold beer and watching TV, if nothing else.
Yeah, they don't even read.
They have no idea.
They don't even read the TV cable guy.
No.
Jordan, you know what? I got an uncle who's let me put it like this. When I was going through my situation with the court system I was telling you about before, I even told the judge, like, after they cleared the courtroom and I left, I was telling the woman in the hall, she was a clerk, and I was telling her I was factually innocent and stuff, and she was like writing this shit down, right? She was like, factually innocent, and she was writing all this shit down, and she said, well, are you one of the Moors? And I said the judge is a Moor too, because they all wear the Shriner fezzes in the court in the secret lodges when no one's looking. I said, shit, he's more of a Moor than me. I'm not a Moor, you know what I mean? I said he knows about all that shit. I don't know that much about it. I'm just trying to protect my rights so I don't have to go to jail. Shit.
Yeah, if you want to know about the Moors, go ask him.
Yeah. Yeah, Jordan, they all wear feathers. They all wear Islam, like they wear a bunch of Islamic shit. The judges and shit, the prosecutors.
Well, no, but see, Islam was developed by the Illuminati, and the Illuminati was developed by the Vatican. So the Vatican is behind Islam. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know this. Islam is a corporation in London. And it's on the London, yeah, no, serious. No, it is. It's on the London Stock Exchange. You go to the London Stock Exchange and look up the stocks of the major, what they call the major corporations, the big ones. And one of the biggest one is Islam Incorporated. It's a religious corporation called a corporation soul. And it's a company. It's a business.
Oh, soul? Like soul as in like the...
S-O-L-E, Corporation Soul. Have you ever heard the word Corporation Soul?
No, I haven't heard that yet.
Okay. Write this down.
Yeah.
It's called Corporation Soul. S-O-L-E. What that is, it's hard to explain, but are you by your computer right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay. What a corporation soul is, it was developed by the Vatican back in the 8th, 9th, and 10th century. it became very, very popular in Europe about the 10th century with the Knights Templars. They set up something called a corporation soul, and what it is, it's a position. It's a position in politics. It's a corporation, but it's called corporation soul because it's an office. The United States, the President of the United States, it doesn't matter who's in there at the time, but there is a position in power called the President of the United States, and and so whoever happens to be in there at the time, it doesn't matter who the president is, but there's an office called President of the United States.
Yes, yes.
And so there's always some dumbass fuckers in there doing something. There's always some dumbass fuck in there doing something, And but it doesn't matter who's in there. What matters is it's an actual office, and there has to be somebody in there continually.
Some dumbass.
And so, all right. Well, the President of the United States office is called in law a corporation sole, meaning it's an office. It's an office, an official office, like in the Catholic Church. There is an office called cardinals, and there may be different cardinals. Some die, and some new ones coming in, and the others die, and some new ones coming in. But there is an office in the Catholic Church called cardinals. So there's always some cardinals there. Mm-hmm. There's also an office called Pope, and there's always going to be somebody in there who's Pope. But it doesn't matter who's in there. It's the office that's called the Pope. And then there's also an office in there called priest. So they're going to have priests coming in and priests going, priests dying, priests coming in.
And they usually have their own office. Bank.
Yeah, but I'm talking about an office.
Yes, I know.
An office.
Yes.
Okay. That's why the cops are called police officers, because they are working in an office, police officer. And the office is a corporation sole, meaning it's a company designation of an office. And when that office always has different people coming in and going, but it doesn't matter how many people come in to president and how many people go out, doesn't matter. It's still an office of government called the President of the United States. And so there's also an office called congressman. So there's a lot of people come in to be Congress, and they die and they leave, and other people come in, but they're always called congressmen because that's the office. Well, you can set up, Americans can set up a corporation sole. They're the only people in the world that are ordinary citizens can set up a corporation sole. Around the world, only the royalty and only the wealthy and most powerful people around the world can set up a corporation sole. But in America, because of the Constitution, the way it was written, Americans, U.S. citizens, have the right to set up a corporation sole. It's strange, but that's the way the Constitution was read, so that we have in America the ability to set up a corporation sole. Anybody can. Now, when you set up a corporation sole, what that means is that you're setting up an office. You're setting up an office, and you're going to call that office whatever you want to call it. As whatever it is, whatever term you can. I'll tell you where to go read all about it. But the point is, once you set up that office and get the paperwork done to the State Department, the United States State Department, you set up the office, and now you control that office. So therefore, the corporation sole, you now have one. And it's an office, and it's called the Jameel Research Society or whatever, and whatever you call it. And then there. Now it's there forever. It can never be undone. You can never undo it. It's there forever. It doesn't mean that it has to have anybody in it. No, it doesn't have to have anybody in it, but the office still is there. And so once you set up the office, you can take your home, your car, your family, anything and everything of any value, and you give it to the office. You dedicate it to the office. And at that point, you no longer own it forever. It's gone from you. You no longer own your home, your car, nothing. But the office of the Research Society, or whatever it is you call it, now owns everything. And you don't own anything. And so as a corporation of sorts, but it's called a corporation soul, because there's only one person who has control over that new office, and that's you. So you have control over the office, but you don't own it, and you don't own nothing in it. It owns everything. You own nothing, but you control the office. So therefore, what that means is that you put your home in the corporation soul, and it does. You can do this easy. Just go down to the State Department, go down to the state building in your city, go to the Department of Corporations, go to the Department of Corporations at the state level in your city, and tell them you want to set up a corporation soul, and they will go back and get the paperwork and the applications. And then you can sit right there, and fill it all out. The name of your corporation, what it's going to be called, and who's going to be in charge of it. That's you, and this and that, and whatever it asks you to do, you fill it out. And then in about 2 weeks, you'll get a letter back from the state saying that your corporation soul is now registered, and you now have a corporation soul. At that point, you then put your car into the corporation soul. You give it to the corporation soul. You give your house, your business, your cat, whatever the fuck you got, put it all in the corporation soul, right?
Yes.
Now, at that point, nobody can ever touch anything inside a corporation soul. Nobody. The United States federal government and God cannot touch anything inside a corporation soul, because they can only take something from a person, and you are the person, but you don't own shit. The corporation soul owns it, and that's under Vatican maritime law, and nobody can touch a corporation soul anywhere. Not world government, not the World Bank, not the U.S. Nobody can touch a corporation soul, period. So therefore, whatever you got, your business, your car, your house, whatever it is locked in, and no one can ever touch it. No one can tax it. Nobody can do anything to it, period. Nobody can touch it. It's in a corporation soul. So I'm just saying, I'll send you, some information on that, and you just go look it up yourself. You just go look it up yourself, corporation soul.
Yeah.
And the government will tell you, oh, yeah, you don't want to do that. No, you don't want to do that. And then you turn around and go to each one of the big corporations like General Electric, General Motors, the Vatican, New York Stock Exchange, all the big corporations in the world, and they will tell you, all of them are corporation soul. And so therefore I say, the government is telling you on the web, oh, you don't want to do that. No, stay away from that corporation soul. That's bad business. Well, if it's so bad, how come every fucking goddamn organization on the goddamn face of the earth is a corporation soul? All the big shots, all the big multi-billionaires are all corporation soul. The Donald Trumps, Steven Spielbergs, the George Lucases, the Disney Corporation, all of them are corporation souls. And yet, here's the government telling me, little old me, I ain't got shit. Oh, you want to stay away from that? Well, fuck you, stay away from that. Why don't you tell Steven Spielberg to stay away from that?
Yeah, they love it.
No. The reason why they tell you to stay away from it, because like the church is telling you to stay away from astrology. They don't want you to know what the big boys know.
Yeah, they're good. George, you don't even got to tell me that. I know. I mean, I've been through so much. I didn't come onto the public until the last year, but for like the last 10 years, 5 of those years, I went through the sovereign stuff with the courts and back and forth and finally I just got sick of it and just left it alone. But
yep, me too. I know you're right.
They like to give me your name. No, I'll tell you my name, but I won't give it to you. It's that they fuck you over as much as they can whenever they can.
Oh yeah.
But this Corporation Soul, this is a bombshell for me. I never even knew about that.
Yeah, write it down. Write it down now. There's also a book out there, a couple of books.
Yeah.
And the books, one of the books you will see a Catholic cardinal on the face of the book. It's a very famous book. And so go on the web and go to image. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, Google Images.
Google image and then type in Corporation Soul. And it will be, first thing will pop up is a picture of the book. There's a book put out by the Vatican showing a cardinal on the face of the book. And the name of the book is Corporation Soul. And it explains how the Vatican, through in British Maritime Admiralty law, set up something back in the 10th century called Corporation Soul. And the Pope is a Corporation Soul. The Queen of England is a Corporation Soul. Prince Charles is Corporation Soul. King Faisal in Arabia, Corporation Soul. All of the big names, the Donald Trump's a Corporation Soul. All the big names are Corporation Soul. Yeah. Why? Nobody can touch them. That's why they can piss on you, rip you off, do anything they want to do, and you can't touch them because they don't own nothing, ain't got nothing, and don't have nothing. So nobody's going to be able to sue them because they ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
But they control the world. Why? Because their world is in a corporation soul.
Yeah. Now this makes sense to me why people don't really do no jail time after they, after
That's right.
When they kill a village, they kill a whole village to build a pipeline over in Nigeria somewhere, but nobody does any time behind it. Now it makes sense.
Why? But because the corporation is in a corporation soul.
Yeah.
And the Vatican and British maritime law has locked that in on the earth. So all over the world, powerful people have quietly, unbeknownst to anybody, set up a corporation soul for themselves. So now they can do whatever they want. You can't touch them.
Jordan, speaking of the Vatican money, you remember Robert Calvi, the God's banker?
God, yeah. Roberto Calvi.
Yeah, Roberto Calvi. Yeah, check this shit out. Mark Lane, right? The guy, the dude, Mark Lane and all that, right? Okay,
I know all about it.
When he was in Jonestown, all that happened. He had a woman named Terry Buford pregnant in his home in Tennessee. Terry Buford was the financial aid to the People's Temple, the Jonestown thing. And she was, these people had millions of dollars spread out in all kinds of different bank accounts all over the world. But one of the ones that was interesting was leading back to Panama, and it was under the name of Saint Peter. It was in Latin, but it was under the name of Saint Peter in Panama, and it was connected to a guy named Archbishop Paul Menakis, who had like 12 ghost companies.
Oh, yeah.
He had like 12 ghost companies.
Yeah, but the thing is, he was head of the Vatican Bank, Paul Marcinkus.
Yeah, he was.
He was the president of the Vatican Bank called Paul Marcinkus.
Yeah.
And he now today, the last time I heard, was living in Arizona. He lives in Arizona. He's got a huge, big, enormous estate in Arizona, and he plays golf every other day. And every now and then he will go to the Vatican to say hello and wish everybody a Happy New Year, and comes back and lives in his Vatican and lives in his enormous estate in Arizona as the president and the chairman of the board of the Vatican Bank. And but he grew up in Chicago, and his best friends were Al Capone and all these gangsters. Yeah, he's an Italian mafiosi.
Speaking of Capone, I saw something like that. You know that movie Godfather with Robert Duvall? He was a lawyer. I saw where I was reading about like the early 1920s and stuff, and the early 1900s and the mid 1900s, where it was Al Capone's consigliere was like calling all the shots in Hollywood as a big lawyer consultant guy. It was I forget the guy's name, but the dude who was running everything was he had been a Al Capone consigliere in Chicago for many years. Yeah, I thought that was.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I remember in the movie Godfather when the attorney went to see the old gray-haired guy at the studio.
Oh, where they cut the horse? I know they put the horse.
Yeah, right. Well, uh, first of all, that gray-haired guy was a sensational actor. Uh, the one that woke up in bed with the horse's head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I used to have breakfast with him when he was filming that movie. There's a restaurant here and in Hollywood called it's in the Valley in Studio City, and that's where Universal Studios is too. And he would come in every morning to have breakfast at Dupar's, and I sat right across from him. And so, we started talking one morning, and of course, every morning, 5 o'clock, I would be there. I was going to work and doing my thing. And he'd come in, and we'd sit and chat and talk. And I asked him, I said, "So what are you working on now?" He said, "Well, I'm doing a movie called Godfather." And he said, "Today they're going to put a horse's head in my bed." and so I was talking to this guy, every day. For a couple of weeks while he was working on the movie. So I had he was very, very nice guy, very nice. And there's a place called Dupar's Restaurant here in the Valley that is it's a hangout for the movie stars. It's a major, major hangout for the movie stars because it's 24 hours, but it's a very, very nice restaurant with the food's great. But it's just a nice place. And so on the way to work in the morning, all the movie stars coming into Studio City, Burbank, into Sherman Oaks, where all the different movie studios are, they have to go to breakfast first before they go to the studio. They got to have breakfast. So everybody stops at Dupar's because it's the place to go. The food is great, service is great. And it's been there for some 50 years, and everybody knows it. And so if you go there at 5 o'clock in the morning, you'll see all the biggest name movie stars in there having breakfast. That's all. They're just coming in and get breakfast before they go to work. And there's places filled with limousines and Rolls Royces. But they're just people. They need to eat too, like you. They need to have breakfast before they go to work.
Hell yeah.
And so I used to go in there all the time and sit and talk with all the top movie stars. But I've known them anyway. I mean, I go back a long time in Hollywood. But I would sit there and talk with Rock Hudson in the morning and Steven Seagal and all these different, just tons of people. Sean Connery was doing James Bond, some stuff here. So it's an interesting place. Maybe when you come here, we'll go over there at 5 o'clock in the morning and see what's happening over there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in LA, Jordan. I get there Friday night at about 11:45, and then I already got the reservations over there at the hotel that we talked about.
Right. So okay. Now when is that? This Friday coming?
Yeah, I leave Friday night in Michigan around 7, and I'll be there about your time around 11 o'clock. So. Yeah.
Now, you're going to LAX, are you?
Yeah, the international airport.
Okay. How are you getting from LAX to the motel?
I was gonna call a cab.
Well, you could do that. When you get that is easy to do, but when you get out, once you pick up your luggage and walk out into the street, there are people out there that you will see them with vests on, with their yellow vests and flashlights and walkie-talkies, and they are there to help people get rides to wherever they're going.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've been to the LAX a few times.
Yeah, okay. So you can tell them that they can get you a shuttle. Just tell them I'm going to Woodland Hills, and they know exactly where Woodland Hills is. It's Woodland Hills. And tell them, I'm going to Woodland Hills, and they'll say, all right, hold on, and then they'll call, and they'll say, anybody, they'll call all of the shuttles at the same frequency, and they will say, we got a guy needs to go to Woodland Hills, and they'll tell, and then, a couple of minutes, a car will pull up, a shuttle will pull up, and it's about the same thing, but a little cheaper than a cab. So you can catch a cab or a shuttle. Just go out and tell them where you want to go, and they'll get you a shuttle.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the shuttle then. I want to do
that. Yeah, it's a little cheaper. And it's actually nicer because they're usually real comfortable. What do you call them? Vacation vehicles, big ones.
Yeah.
So they're very comfortable, and they take you right to the door, just like a cab. It's a little cheaper.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to get there because I've been in Michigan through this whole winter thing, and it's just
enough of that shit's enough, right?
Yeah, I love like entering Los Angeles. For me, to me when you're here, when people say it's cold, to me it's like we get like 20, 30 degrees, down below zero.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So even some of the coldest nights in LA aren't cold to me,
Oh well, yeah. We've gotten in our winter. We've gotten down almost down to 60 one time.
Yeah.
Above,
Yeah.
And people are pissing and moaning because it's so cold.
Yeah.
Cold.
I saw a guy wearing
the air conditioner in the office is about 60. It's comfortable.
Yeah, I saw a guy wearing a winter cap, like a ski cap, in LA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell is he wearing that for? It's not cold.
Well, that's because he's mentally deranged.
Yeah. Yeah.
They probably let him out of some kind of a mental ward in a hospital or something.
Yeah. Hey, Jordan, you know what? I remember you were telling, man, you were I was listening to your show one time, and you were telling this really good story about how you were doing this thing with all these spiritualists in LA. Like they were.
Oh, yeah.
Like.
That was called US of A, United Sensitives of America. Yeah.
Is it real?
The other, you know what? There's the other thing is, are you going to rent a car while you're here?
You know what? I was thinking about that, but I don't have a real license. I don't. I always use the other stuff. I don't have no real by the book, license, as they say.
Well, look if you want to rent a car, I'll come down to the motel when you get there. I'll come down the next morning, and we could go over and rent the car. I'll drive it. I'll get it, in my name if you could pay for it. I don't have the money to pay for it. Probably only $50 to $70.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, and then we'll have a car, and we could go all over.
Yeah.
We'll have a car. How long are you figuring on being here?
I got it at least a week, but my thing is negotiable because I bought insurance for my ticket back.
Okay.
And it was a good deal. It was only $400 something to get a round trip, and then because
no, that's very good, very good.
Yeah. With the insurance, now I can extend it or something. I can call them, and it sounds like I'm gonna be able to figure something out with them.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, I'll come over and I'll have my friend drive me over because I don't have a car either. But I'll have my friend who takes me everywhere I need to go. He'll drive me down to see you. Then he'll take both of us over to the rental, and we'll get the car, and that's it. No big deal.
Yeah.
And then I can keep the car since you can't drive it anyway. I'll keep the car, and I'll just come pick you up in the mornings.
Yeah,
it sounds good.
Yeah, Jordan, were you in LA okay, you were in LA in the '60s too, right? Like the early '60s.
Oh yeah, I was here from '59. I got here in '59.
Jordan, it sounds like in the early '60s. Like when I look back and I listen to all the different groups, no matter if they're whites, blacks, Hispanics, whatever group it is. It sounds very serious and very practical what they were talking about. It looks like when it got to the later '60s, things had gotten really goofy a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, when it started was with the assassination of Kennedy in '63.
Yeah.
Because before, and when I got here in '59 and '60, '61, '62, it was an incredible place. This Southern California, especially L.A., was one incredible place. But after it's just in a whole different world. And after the assassination of Kennedy, everything turned to shit. Everything started going downhill quickly. All kinds of stuff started happening to just destroy Los Angeles, to destroy the country, actually. But L.A. began to really feel it quick. And then soon after that, 66, 67, 68 is when the big riots were breaking out all over Los Angeles. The cities were burning, riots, crime was out of control. It was interesting. I've seen it all. I was here before. I was here doing, and here after. So
yeah,
I've seen it all.
I was listening to Malcolm X speak about why he had left the Nation of Islam, about how Elijah Muhammad had a bunch of children with pregnant girls. I mean, he impregnated a lot of teenage young girls. Mm-hmm. And the story was, what Malcolm was saying is like the girls were getting in trouble for doing this. He was saying that the girls had committed a crime by doing this, like not admitting that he was the father, you know? But then Malcolm X had brought up something very interesting, that Malcolm X was saying how Elijah Muhammad was causing violence to blacks. All the violence that came out of the Nation of Islam at that time was on other blacks. You never.
That's right.
And so I was listening to Malcolm X say that. I really thought about that. I was like, wow, man, this guy must be working for the Ku Klux Klan or something, because because some black guy in the Nation of Islam does something. You know, they take him on the alley and beat him up or shoot him or something. But you know, you never heard. But when it came to the police were shoot the blacks. But the blacks that got shot, there was never any type of attempt to try to stop it, even, or any type of. It's almost like the power that saw to it the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was there was a power of the establishment itself.
That's exactly right. That's what he knew. That's what he. And you know, the Nation of Islam was started
by a white man, a Jewish man.
By a white man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a Jewish guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jordan, check this out. The zebra murders, I was studying the zebra murders some more, and check this out. A lot of these hits that the zebra murders were, they were meant to be racial attacks from blacks on whites, but I'm finding out a lot of these people that were dying, these were like people who were like going to speak out or witnesses at a murder trial. A lot of it seemed like the people who killed, they were killed to silence them. Same thing with the Zodiac murders. It almost looked like a lot of stuff was like hits, like British London underworld hits and mafia hits.
No, that's exactly what they were. Precisely what they were. That's it.
Yeah, the serial killer, like even with like Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer, lies people. There's like an overlay that this is all serial killings, but in reality, these are like orchestrated military-industrial complex hits.
That's exactly what they were. That's precisely what they were. They were orchestrated. They've always been orchestrated all the time. It's a very simple concept once you see it for the first time. It's very simple. When you've got a ship the size of the Queen Mary or the Titanic, you cannot turn that thing around like a Volkswagen. It don't work.
Right.
You got to plan 10 to 15 miles ahead. For every time you're going to change course, even a little bit, you got to do it 15 miles first before you want to turn and plan it, because that ship is too large, too huge, too heavy. It's got centrifugal force, so you've got to plan ahead to turn something that big. And so that's the way the ship of state, because you're on a citizen ship. So the way that the ship of state works is they have to plan things, way out ahead to turn the citizen ship into the way they want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
So they will kill somebody, and they will purposely go out and kill some people, which will then cause the other people. For instance, the whites will go out and kill some blacks. Then, now the blacks are ranting and raving about somebody killed one of theirs, and then the government has to come in and settle all of this and take charge. It's all orchestrated. The whole thing, all of this stuff is orchestrated. Period.
Yeah.
And people don't see it, and it's continually. And another thing which is overwhelming and obvious to me is that every now and then, they don't do it all the time, but every 6 months they will have somebody do something, like they'll send one of their agents into an airport and have a gun on him. He'll have a gun on him, and the airlines are in on it. And so the government tells them, all right, we're going to send a guy in. Here's his name, and he's going to have a gun on him. So let him go, let him get on the plane, and then we're going to arrest him. And so the guy goes in, he's got a gun, he gets on the airplane, and then all of a sudden they find out, oh my God, this guy's got a gun, and the FBI rush in to arrest him. And then the next thing you hear is the government say, well, look, this is horrible. This is absolutely unreasonable. This guy walked in and got in a plane with a gun. We're going to have to get tougher. We're going to make these laws tougher. We're going to have to make the laws tougher. And so they got a good reason, because this guy snuck onto a plane with a gun. Obviously, somebody wasn't doing their job. And so now we got to make the laws even tougher, even more stiffer. That's exactly how they do it. So instead of making the laws stiffer every week, no, we'll just do it every now and then. We'll give it a little excuse. Somebody did something and we didn't catch it, and so we've got to make the laws tougher. Basically, all they're doing is little by little, they're squeezing and turning the screw tighter and tighter and tighter until one day you can't even belch unless you go to prison.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's so well tightened down, little by little. It was all planned 30 years ago.
Well, they do that shit on me, and I always say fuck them. I told the cops that they took me to jail one time, and they were like, "We're gonna need your fingerprints." And I said, "You can get them out of duress, threat, and coercion, but I'm not gonna give them to you." And they said, "Well, because of the Patriot Act, we can take them." I said, "Well, do you have any receipts for the fingerprint machine? How do I know you didn't steal it? How do I said, what they were trying to, the fucker, he was like, then one cop like kicked a basket, like showing me he was gonna kick me and shit. And I was like, I can't aid and assist you in a felony. I have a community responsibility to make sure you're not committing a crime. I was in there fucking going off on him, man. I go off. Eventually they left me alone. Now when the cops see me, they don't bother me, Jordan. But I used to fucking, they used to be like, we'll just put some drugs on you, and then we'll say you committed a drug crime. And I just said, well, go ahead, I said, you gotta carry that debt too. When somebody does something to you one day, it's gonna be because you can't just walk around framing people, They threat. They put me in jail so many times for that kind of shit. I don't even care no more. I just say fuck it. But
well, I know. That's why I stay so quiet anymore. Yeah. I'm not doing much of anything anymore. I just stay quiet because at 74 years old, I'm going on 75. I give up. I know enough to know when to give up, and so there's a scripture in the Bible in the Old Testament that says there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time to build up, work hard and build up, and a time to give it up and let it go. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the time has already arrived quite a long time ago to give it up and let it go. Yeah. I don't care. I don't care about none of it anymore. I just give it up and let it go. Because I feel America is like, I feel today like I'm in a, what do you call them? A life preserver boat on the Titanic. I'm in a life preserver boat, and they drop the boat off the side, and then you get about a block away from the Titanic, and she's 2/3 under already, and we're sitting out there in this boat, life preserver boat, watching the Titanic go under with the lights going off and the sirens going off. Yeah, and it's already 2/3 under, and ain't fuck all you gonna do about it. It's already 2/3 under, and you ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah.
So since you ain't gonna do shit, you just shut the fuck up and stay and keep the blanket around you so you don't freeze to death, because you ain't gonna stop nothing. You ain't you can't stop nothing. You don't know nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. And so that's the way this country is 2/3 away. No, it's 4/5 of the way now. It's going under, and I can't do nothing about it. I ain't got nothing to say about it. I ain't God, and I don't have any supernatural powers. I just know what's going on for 50 years, but I can't do nothing about it. So I just stay quiet. I don't give a shit anymore. Fuck them.
Yeah, that you know what, Jordan? I think like since 1933, we've been under martial law with that House Joint Resolution 192.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You know, where they took away the gold and all that shit. I think that right there.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, you and I both know, so that's it.
So
you know nothing anybody's going to do about it. So
yeah, I don't protest or like when it comes to protesting and all that shit. You know, like I'm not. You know, I learned a long time ago. Like if I go out there and I try to fight for somebody else's rights, I'm going to be fucked. But
that's right.
I just when they try to take something away from me, that's when I like that's when they've crossed the line. You know, when you know they get out and talk to me crazy and shit. That's I try to be like what you're saying. I try to I don't look for trouble. I try to avoid it. But man, they just some of these cops talk to you like there's something wrong with these cops. The way they talk to people.
Oh, I know all about it. Believe me, I know all about it. I can write a book on the subject. That's why I become a recluse. I don't do much radio anymore, and now I'm not doing any radio. I don't do any radio anymore. I don't speak in public anymore. I don't talk to people anymore. None of it. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in talking to people, doing radio, educating people about anything.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. I just do what I do, but I'm not out there like I used to be. Why? Because it's irrelevant. What I'm doing now is totally, totally irrelevant. It has nothing to do with anything. Nobody, the few people who are listening to me, they already know. And the great masses of the people out there, they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. So I'm not gonna put myself on the line, not at all.
Yeah, I don't blame you. They've already taken so much. It's like they've taken so much. Yeah. People, even people like myself, Jordan, who've been I don't even know what all they've taken. They've taken so much from me. You know,
I know. You ain't the only one. I know.
I'm still trying to. They took rights from me 100 years before I was even thought of.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Shit. Now we're talking about like
you take this shit back to 1840s, back to 1845, just before the Civil War. The League of Just Men, the League of Communists in America, and Karl Marx and V.I. Lenin. The fathers of communism worked in New York for the New York Times. They were Americans working right in New York City, and they were financed by the Chase Manhattan Bank and Morgan Guaranty Trust. I mean, this shit's been going on for a long time. As far as I'm concerned, no, thank you. I don't want nothing to do with this world that I'm living in. Period. I know where it all came from. I know where it is now, and I know where it's going. Not me.
Yeah,
I want to get off the bus.
Jordan, you ever heard of Dr. Z. York?
Yeah, of course. And I've got some of his books, and there was a time back in the 70s, late 70s to mid 80s, where I was giving lectures all the time at Nation of Islam bookstores, Nation of Islam meetings, etc. I've given big lectures and big seminars, 2 and 3 day seminars for the Nation of Islam, and so I knew all of those authors. I mean, I could go through all of them. I knew them all. I used to go to the bookstore, Nation of Islam bookstores. I had all the books. Yeah, I know them. I knew all those people.
There's something really fucking tripped out with him going to jail, because I was studying his case, and he's Dr. Malachi Z. York, but the guy they got locked up on the federal record says Dwight D. York. But that's not really what's fucked up. His trial date is set on Martin Luther King Day in the federal court system for those alleged child molestation. They try to say he was taking advantage of children or something like that across state lines.
Yeah.
But it was Martin Luther King Day that they said his trial was. Federal courts don't run on Martin Luther King Day.
Well, this one did.
Yeah, but nobody was ever in the courtroom. The most anybody ever got is they just heard the audio of it or saw the clip of it. Nobody was actually, none of his followers were actually there. Jordan, this might sound really fucked up, but I'm thinking that never really happened. Because
not.
because they raided his compound, the pyramid thing in Georgia, right? But
yep.
his home, his bookstore, all his fucking properties leading up to New York were untouched. The government never stepped foot in any of these places, and he got charged with the RICO Act and doing shit across state lines. Well, everything with his name on it should have been touched by the government, and all,
yep.
and even the guy that they arrested at the compound didn't have the same. The guy was like 10 years younger or something. The name that they arrested the guy with, Dwight D. York, is not the same age or nothing, and the court dates were on a federal holiday. There's something really fucked up with his story. Well,
I'll tell you what. Look at. I don't think it's very wise for us to talk much, on the phone. But
okay. I feel.
But suffice it to say, but what I will say is that I'm not interested anymore in any of this politics,
right,
or social politics, or the body social and all that kind of thing. I don't care about the world I live in. I don't care about the politics of it. I don't care about nations and countries and peoples. I don't care about any of that. I've already been there and done that 50 years ago. What I'm concerned now with, and this is the only thing I'm actually involved in, is the spiritual matrix of the universe. Who we are, where we've come from, who made us.
Right, George. It's not even safe to talk about. It's not even safe to talk about none of this shit no more.
I know.
I hear you, man. I hear you. You can't even fuck.
I don't even care about countries. I don't give a shit about Russia or America or China. I don't care about that. I'm wondering, where the fuck did this Earth come from?
Yeah.
Yeah. How is it that out of all the millions and millions of light years that we can see, we don't see any planet with water and people? And out here in the middle of nowhere, on the outskirts of the Milky Way galaxy, is a little small infinitesimal dot, and it's got all kinds of life on it, and water, and all kinds of life. I mean, cockroaches and dinosaurs and everything else. Where did this come from? Where in the fuck did we on this Earth come from? And how come the moon is the size it is, and its exact size and its exact place? I mean, everything is too perfect to just be by chance.
Yeah, Jordan, I think what you're starting to maybe seeing a little bit, I think what we may have come across here in our conversation is a lot of this fucking shit that we think is real is not real.
I think you're probably right.
A lot of the scenarios, when you say this person got assassinated, this person, is doing time, this happened to this person, sometimes these people aren't even fucking real.
No, I totally understand that.
No,
I mean, I've got a lot of goddamn stuff I've been saving for years showing that Muhammad never lived. There was no man named Muhammad.
Right.
And some of the best Islamic scholars have written, scholars who live in Europe have written books about there was no Muhammad. He never lived. There's just a story. And I know for damn sure there was no Jesus. And I can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that everything in Judaism is a lie. None of it ever happened. There was no King David.
Jordan, I was talking more about I bought a little paperback about the Civil War, and about Professor Thaddeus Lowe.
Yeah.
And the secret societies like the Knights of the Golden Square and Triangle. And I'm starting to come across the conclusion that maybe Abraham Lincoln might not even been killed, or or maybe he did, but the person they said they didn't do it, or maybe Jordan, situations like, what if it turned out that some people that we think were assassinated never really were assassinated?
Yeah, I know.
Or they never existed. How we talked about the prosthetic mask and stuff, the fake faces and shit. What if these people aren't really real?
Well, I mean, they made television shows about that same subject, many years ago. What about Wild Wild West? There was a TV show. TV show was sensational.
Yeah.
It's called Wild Wild West TV show. They made a movie a few years ago, but no, there's a TV show that was one of my favorite TV shows because it was so well done. Called Wild Wild West, and it takes place in the 1870s, 1860s, in the Wild West in the cowboy days. But it was so well done, and it showed how the president was not the president. It was somebody who had a facelift and made him look like the president, and so some gangster was not really a gangster because he never existed. And that's what the whole show was all about, how all the lies, deception, and bullshit, and the great things which happen on the world stage didn't happen at all. You remember the movie called Wag the Dog?
With Robert De Niro?
Yeah, with Robert De Niro.
I saw bits and pieces of it, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got to go back and watch that. It's about how they put together a war. And when in fact there was no war, but they went to Hollywood and got on sound stages and with the computers make it look like there was people dying here and the bombs blowing up there and all these terrible things going on, while actually in the real country nobody knew anything about it. It was all being done in Hollywood on a sound stage. That's why they call it Wag the Dog.
Yeah, but in Jordan, it's one thing to talk about this stuff, but Hollywood makes this stuff, but when you really start like catching this stuff happening, that's when it looks tripped out.
I know.
Because Jordan, I catch shit, and like 90% of the shit I catch, I don't talk about it because it's so strange. You don't even know what to say to people. How do you tell somebody something like that? You just like
I know. That's why I don't talk about it. That's exactly why.
Right.
I don't talk about it either. It's too fucking off the wall, and half of it I don't even believe, and I'm going to try and tell somebody else about it. So I understand. And besides, now it's dangerous to talk to anybody. It's dangerous to talk to anybody about anything because they will report you to the authorities. The way people are today, they're so fucking stupid. If you try and explain something to them as intelligent, all they know is football, and they're scared. They'll call the police on you.
Jordan, I came across some stuff, man. It's not nothing really dangerous, but I came across some stuff where I think like this was in Hollywood, and it was the last time I was there, and there were these people selling tour tickets, and I don't think the people were human. I'm for real. It looked like they had like
Yeah, so you take a tour, you buy the ticket, and you're going on a tour, all right. Yeah, but you ain't coming back.
Really? That's what they do?
No, I'm saying that I've heard things like that. Where they're selling tickets to go somewhere, and you think you're going on some tour. Well, you are going on a tour. But where you're going, you don't want to know.
What?
Yeah. So
what's that about?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of shit I can tell you about when you get out. I don't want to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
But the point is that I am not interested to talk about anything in public anymore.
Right.
Period. I've given up. I look at the American public. Have you ever seen those television, those things on YouTube? Americans are stupid, or stupid Americans. Have you ever seen those videos? They got some guys from England who came over here, and they've got about 4 or 5 of these 10-minute, 15-minute things that they've got on YouTube called Americans, or Stupid Americans, or something like that. And what they do is they go around the country from England. They come here, and then they go around the country interviewing Americans about life, about things, about the war, about space, anything. And you should hear how fucking stupid these people really are. Mm-hmm. And it's funny. It's great stuff to sit and watch it. It's a crack up. Asking people, about the Al-Qaeda. What do you think about Al-Qaeda? And then one guy says, well, what team were they on? Is that basketball? No, it was football.
Yeah. Who do they play ball for?
Yeah, and then they have a big board, a big easel, and on the easel on the board it's the world map, and on the world map they have Australia, and they have names of countries. But they have in Australia they put New York, and then they asked us, some poor dumb fuck in New York, and the U.S. Can you point out New York on the map? And says, oh yeah, there it is. They points to Australia because it says New York. So it just shows the IQ of the human being today on the earth is so far gone. There's nothing to argue about. There's nothing to discuss. It's over. Just go on the web to YouTube and put out and type in "stupid Americans" and watch that shit. And if that doesn't blow your mind, nothing will.
Oh shit! All you gotta do is just go outside.
Just go talk to them. Just go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
If that doesn't set you back 10 years growth, nothing won't. So.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, you know what? I've been trying to, like, lately. Okay, you know how people talk to spirit guides and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, check this out. One night I was having a vision in my mind of this, like, guy. He was like a kind of like Hindu looking, like a bald-headed, dark-skinned Hindu looking guy in a circle with a bunch of other people. I was having this kept popping in my mind throughout the day. Then I did a channeling session with this guy named Brad Johnson who channels this energy. And the information comes through really good. This energy called a Dronus. He said he's channeling an energy from the star system of Sirius. And I asked the energy if I had spirit guides, and he said the spirit guide's name was Muhammad. And I said, Muhammad? He said, right, but not like a Muslim or the Muslim prophet Muhammad. He said a guru from India around 1,000 years ago. But right before he told me that in a channeling session, I was having those images a week before that.
Yep.
And then I've been trying to connect with my spirit. I've been trying to connect with this entity named Muhammad, and I've been getting like information. Like now I get information. I'll just be sitting here, and I'll just get information, like from the spirit. Like I'll be wondering how shit works, and I'll just get information out of nowhere.
I know all about it. Me too.
Have you ever tried to channel on though?
I believe me. I've been channeling for years, but I don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know all about it, and I can tell you more when you get here.
Yeah. You know,
tell you more when you get here.
Jordan, that Bob Fernie guy. I was looking up about Bob Fernie, and I found one on like American, like where you can look for people on the internet. And
yeah.
There's one. They said he was in his He was in the 80s when he died. Bob Fernie, but he has a stepsister. The Bob Fernie they're talking about on Google, they're saying he has a stepsister in Muskegon, Michigan, where I am. I thought that was kind of tripped out.
Oh, really?
It might not even be the same guy, but I was just.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
But there's
of course, he could have died in the 80s. That's very easy. Because,
no, they said he was in his 80s.
Oh, he was in his 80s
when he died.
Oh yeah, okay. See, because I never heard or saw him ever again. One day they left. I went over there on a Saturday morning to the house, and the house was wide open. All the windows were up. All the doors were open, and there wasn't nothing in the house. They gone, just left. The girl didn't tell me she was going. Nobody called and tell me anything. They're just gone. And never seen them again.
Or maybe the house, maybe they had like a similar house, and a reality just next to your reality. And they're still in their house, but they just shifted realities or something. You know what I mean?
Who the hell knows?
Something crazy like, I don't know.
I know that kind of stuff happens all the time. I've heard all kinds of stories from people all around the world of that, what do you call it, realities, universes, two universes existing at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the term is. I've heard too many stories. Yeah, parallel universes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've heard way too many stories from older people, military people, professionals who have had brushes with the parallel universe stuff happening. So I've heard too many stories. There's no doubt in my mind that stuff happens. No doubt in my mind at all. I don't know how it works, but I know it does work because I've heard too many stories.
Yeah, Jordan, I was channeling that energy, that Muhammad guy, and I was getting like the energy that like I was asking about the giants, you know, the Olmec statues.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that a lot of these giants were some of the first creations of the Anunnaki coming out of like the Sasquatch people.
I would be a bit surprised. It makes sense to me.
Right, and he says a lot of them didn't want to go along with the program, like work for anybody, and they just kind of like they didn't want to go along with the program, but the Anunnaki had cut their resources off in the areas they were at, like tampered with their resource, like saying, well, fuck, if you don't want to work for me, you can't get no more water. You know what I mean? kind of. And so a lot of these giant groups, they left and they went to different lands, like, and that's why there's like so many strange type of temples. But then there's also temples that were built before the creations of humans, for just temples.
Oh, God, yes.
Like temple, the gods, like in the book of Jeremiah, we're talking the city of the gods that was created.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and all those temples that are found in the ocean, pyramids in the ocean, pyramids off the coast of Florida, in the ocean floor. Have you ever seen that? I heard about that. There's a huge pyramid sitting on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean that's working. It's got a generator in it today. You can go out and go scuba diving and go and see this pyramid. It's larger than the Pyramid of Giza. It's larger than the Pyramid of Giza. It's sitting on the ocean floor, and it's 10 miles north of Bimini in the Bahama Banks. And it's sitting out there on the ocean floor, a perfect pyramid. It's got a circle at the top with an eye, and water is being sucked into the pyramid through the eye, and it comes out the bottom. The water is coming out the bottom. So there's some kind of a generator inside of that pyramid right now as it's sitting on the ocean floor of the Atlantic Ocean. And
Jordan, that's what. Okay, when I was channeling, like the spirit guy was telling me that like through sound, through these pyramids, these temple-like pyramids, that through interjecting sound, the sound would be used like to create the vibration, and then the vibration would activate certain things within the DNA, and then you could travel from different places like that, like like or like if you had a ship, like the aura of the body, your body, or the aura of several people can be used to protect you. So you like if you're moving through the air, you can breathe because the etheric aura that you have around your body can keep the oxygen, like protection.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I'm sure.
He was saying that he was saying like even 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, people in places all over the world could travel and go to like Mars and the moon through the manipulation of sound within the pyramids, the vibration and stuff.
I think so. I think that's exactly right. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And also the thing you need to do is to go on the web. Oh, there's so much out there that's good stuff. Have you ever heard of a guy named Klaus, Klaus, Donna, Dona, Klaus Donna?
Oh yeah, I thought he was with you guys on Project Camelot.
That's right. Yeah, Project Camelot and Klaus Donna.
Yeah, he's German, right? Klaus?
Yeah, German.
Yeah, I remember.
I think he's Austrian.
Yeah, he's smart. I saw his stuff. He had the statues of the reptilian people and stuff.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of stuff. Well, go on the web and watch all of Klaus Donna. He's got great stuff. No doubt about it.
Yeah,
and,
I wonder what. It seems like he found some shit that he's not talking about too, because.
Oh yeah, I know. And see, I spent 5 days with him in Zurich, Switzerland. 5 days. Klaus, Donna, and I, talked for 5 days at a hotel in Zurich, Switzerland. So I know there's a lot of stuff I could tell you about that.
Yeah, hey, Jordan. It seems like that dark power is kind of keeping. There's a dark power out there that doesn't really want this type of stuff spoken about.
Oh, are you kidding? You bet your ass on that, boy.
And even like a lot of people that they think, okay, they're in the system, they're an agent or they're working for the man or something. They don't realize they ain't working for no man. They're working for an entity.
Yeah.
You ain't working for no man. I don't care if you're in the
I don't care what position.
What group? I don't care if you're in the. I don't care if you're in the KKK or the Chinese Mafia or whatever you think you're in.
That doesn't matter.
They're all the same. You ain't working for a man.
Right. Not at all.
Right.
You're gonna find that out if you fuck up. You're gonna find out.
Yeah. You get wise and figure out something out.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna find out real soon. So that's why I don't have anything to do with any of it anymore. I just stay quiet, stay all the way. I want to quietly leave this place with no fanfare. But anyway, let me know when you get here, and I'll come over. We'll go get the car, and then we can. I got all kinds of places that take you. I got all kinds of places that.
Oh, we don't get in the car, and the car just starts. You're like, where we're going, we need no roads or something. The car goes off.
Right, yeah.
You're gonna find out where Jordan Maxwell really comes from. And it's like.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Where you're going, you don't want to know.
Well,
I got lots of interesting places to take you. A lot of interesting places. It'll be fun.
Well, that has to happen because the whole world's under the camera now. So you got to go off planet to be able to talk to somebody.
No doubt about it. You're right there. It's incredible how locked in everything is. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was looking at these old videos from like the 50s and 60s. And I was thinking, I'm like, wow, man, these people aren't on camera. I mean, in the movies they are, but in real life, there's no cameras out there that they know of. But.
Yeah, right.
Well,
but like I said, there's so much we could talk about. But when you get here, we're going to go to a lot of places.
Okay.
I like going places with somebody who I can talk with. 99% of the people, like Jackie Mason said, he said, when I talk to other people, I always end up talking to myself. So now I just talk directly to me and fuck everybody else. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm going to talk directly to me. And so that's the way I feel. I mean, I don't even want to talk to people who are so goddamn stupid. So when you get out here, we'll roam around the city and I'll show you shit you've never seen.
Oh, I'm ready. Okay, Jordan. Well, we got today's Sunday. So right.
Today is the 22nd.
Okay.
Sunday the 22nd.
So 5 days. I'll be there. Then the next day, the day after I get there, we can go.
Now that'll be what, Saturday?
Yeah. The rent-a-car place.
Because you'll get here Friday, and what time did you say you get here on Friday?
It's going to be around 11 or something at night. I'm gonna
Good. Okay, so what you need to do is email or call. Well, actually, you don't even have to. You don't have to do that. I don't get up till late, like noon or so. So you just sleep in, and then I will call the hotel and get your room number.
Okay.
And or have them call me or whatever. But I'll get to you. I know where you are. I'll get to you, and you'll have all my information too. So, did I send you all the information too yet? On my phone numbers and all that stuff.
I got one phone number that was on the I don't want to say too much, but I got one phone number on on an address.
Okay. Well, let me send you all the information you need. I'll email it to you tonight or tomorrow.
Okay. Well, hey.
All the information you need, I'll send it to you.
Okay, sounds great, Jordan.
And then also, the mere fact that you're coming to the motel, I know where it is, and I can call them and get your room number, and I'll come over. So I know where you are, and I'll just come over Saturday and get you. Now, also, Joe, I might bring Joe. As a matter of fact, look at email me your birthday and where you were born and your birthday. And if you don't, that's all right. If you know the time you were born, and I'm going to give that to Joe because he usually comes down. He lives about 20 miles from me, but he usually comes down on Saturdays, and we hang out together. So I'm going to have Joe look up your chart for you, and then when you Saturday when I come pick you up, I might come with Joe. And then while we're out roaming around and driving all